We're going to make chocolate. So most chocolate is wrapped in plastic, or it's wrapped in tin foil, paper with tin foil lining. Difficult things to recycle. Let's just make our own chocolate. It's very easy, simple, and when you have it in your freezer or your fridge, it's just such a nice treat to have around. Yay! Okay, so what we'll need is coconut oil, cacao powder, tahini, honey, or maple syrup, depending on if you're vegan, pure vanilla extract, cacao butter. So these are little nibs of cacao butter. If you don't have cacao butter, you can just use more coconut oil. It's just going to melt more in your hands or in your mouth. Yeah, it's just going to have a lower melting point. You can see in this extreme heat, and the cacao butter is still solid, so that's why we like to use a little bit of cacao butter. Some nuts of your choice, so we'll roast these macadamia up, and just a little bit of sea salt. In terms of your equipment, you'll want a pan to toast the nuts. You'll want a pan to put the chocolate in. I don't use baking paper. There is biodegradable parchment paper. If you would like to use that, you can line your pan with that, and then it breaks out easier. Up to you. And then a small little saucepan for melting the coconut oil, cacao butter, and cacao together. All right, let's do it. Half cup of cacao nibs. Here we go. Half cup coconut oil, organic, virgin, cold pressed. 1/3 cup cacao powder. And then we'll put this on low heat on the stove. And we'll just want, it's already quite hot, so our coconut oil is already totally melted. But this is just for if your coconut oil is solid. We're just going to integrate all of these things together. We'll just give that a little stir. Meanwhile, I can start toasting my nuts. So I'll take my macadamia nuts, I'll just slide them over. We'll just give these a nice little toast, again on low heat. We don't want to overpower them, and if we forget about them, they won't burn. Chocolate, this is such an easy recipe and everybody loves it. It's delicious. The tahini and honey makes our caramel swirl, so we're going to make chocolate base, and then we're going to swirl the caramel through it, and then we're going to put our little macadamia nuts and a little bit of sprinkle of sea salt in there, so we've got caramel macadamia chocolate. Amazing! So that's totally melted, so we'll just pour this straight into our pan. 1 teaspoon of vanilla. Now I'll give it a little sprinkle of our sea salt. Nice even sprinkle throughout. Now we'll pop this in the freezer. You can also set it in the fridge if you want a fudgier chocolate. And now our macadamias have a nice little brown to them. So now I'll just give them a little chop so that we can nicely distribute them through the chocolate. And we'll just push those to the side to pop in when our chocolate's a little bit more solidified. Now we'll start to make our caramel. So I just used the same saucepan. I gave it a little bit of a rinse. And I'll just add in our tahini and honey. 1 tablespoon of honey, 1 tablespoon each. We just whip this, and it turns into a really nice caramel. Sometimes you might need to heat this up to give it a little bit of help, so that's why using the same pan can sometimes work. Doesn't need too much heat, but a little bit can help it just whip into a really nice little caramel. Chocolate, so it's kind of partially set, so we don't want it totally set because we want to be able to swirl the caramel through. And we've got our toasted nuts. Got our caramel here, and it's nice and gooey, so now we'll just drizzle it through in a little zigzaggy pattern. It's really nice. A little taste to have with the bitter chocolate. We don't want to mix it completely together. That takes away from the diversity of taste. So we'll just kind of spread that through the chocolate. And then we'll drizzle in our nuts. And then that's good to go. We'll pop it back into the freezer for a more solid chocolate, or the fridge for a more fudgy chocolate. So I'll just sprinkle these in. Again, trying to get them evenly so that each bite has lots of yummy and crunch. That's it. I'll show you this when it's hardened. Voila, chocolate! And our chocolate is set. Amazing! And you can just break this up into the little natural squares or take a knife to it. Because we do have coconut oil in this, it will melt a little. If you don't want it melty, just add more of the cacao butter. You can use totally coconut oil, but know that it will be very melty. So, yum! What a delicious treat. Chocolate.